Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Lords of Football. Do you love The Sims and Football Manager, but wish that each of them was a little bit more shallow and kind of wider spread? Instead of managing a single person, in Lords of Football, you manage a whole team of people, and of course, as you might expect, they are a football, or if I'm going to Americanize my dialogue here, they are a soccer team. It's a kind of a weird mix of a managerial sim as well as like a personal life simulator. Basically, there's two phases of Lords of Football, as you'll see when we get involved here. One of them is managing the training of the players, one of them is managing the nightlife of the players, and then there's kind of like a place where, a part of the game where you don't actually have control directly over what happens. You just kind of watch an AI versus AI football match take place. It's a very unusual game. It's available now for 30 bucks on Steam. Let's play it, shall we? I'm gonna load into an existing save. Actually, you know what? Why don't we start a new game first, just so I can show you the kind of new game options that we have here. So we can enter a name here. It doesn't really matter. We'll be Beard Face or something like that. It doesn't make a big difference. I wanted to show you, because if there's European viewers out there watching this, I wanted them to have a feel for kind of the scope of the game, because there are only, I guess, 5 European nations that you can play as: Spain, France, Italy, Germany, and England. So if you wanted to play, I don't know, a team from Eastern Europe, or maybe Russia or something like that, or a Portuguese team, or, you know, etc., an Irish team perhaps, sadly that is going to be off the table for you. So why don't we play as England, because, you know, when I follow football, which is occasionally, intermittent at least, I usually follow English football, and then we can choose from either fake teams from the English Premier League or fake teams from the English Second Division, but all of them are based on real teams. So, you know, we've got the Manchester Reds, who are obviously based after Manchester United and who are very strong. Should go without saying at this point that there are the FIFA license, or the, you know, World Football license, is not in this game, so it's not real teams and it's not real players either. But in any case, you know, you pick your team. You could be basically the Arsenal analog. I don't know who the London Hammers are. I guess that would be West Ham United. Birmingham Lions beats me, man. In any case, like I said, my football knowledge is not particularly strong. Can I back out here? Because that's all I wanted to show off there, is the new game options. Let's actually jump into... Oh, I didn't want to be Beard Face again. It's Beard Face. Yeah, we know. Let's load into my game as the Sunderland Northernlions. Now, like I said, Lords of Football is divided into a few different kind of stages of gameplay, some discrete phases of interaction, if you will. Ignore these loading screens for now. I will explain what the heck is going on with this guy stealing change out of his teammate's locker and losing all his money at a slot machine. Basically, we're going to be in the first phase of the game. We're going to go through one day of Lords of Football. Our goal for this game is to manage our team to the point where they can win a European Cup, which I believe is the overarching goal here. Now, that's going to change in difficulty based on whether you're playing as a team that's really good, like the London Gunners, for example, or a team that's really bad, like maybe from the second division. So we're playing as the Sunderland Northernlions, who are like a mid-tier team. And we got to explain what the heck is going on here. First things first, these are all our players. They're arriving for our training phase, which is the first phase of the game. And what we have to do here is basically put them through their paces. We can do things like, you know, manage or put them on the running track to increase their speed, have them go through passing training, or, you know, penalty training, aerial ability training. We could also, you know, if they're injured, we can take them to the physiotherapist. In the gymnasium, we can choose, you know, what kind of exercises they can do to upgrade their skills. Like right now, I've got natural fit and strength training up. We haven't unlocked anything else, unfortunately, so I guess we'll just leave it as such. But if I wanted to, I could put, you know, 2 natural fit training centers here. Similarly, you know, there's kind of like a mix and match. By the way, the frame rate issues are endemic to the game itself, not an issue from recording with Fraps, I promise you for once. Similarly, you know, there's kind of like a mix and match where we can slot in training things we want. Like, instead of having speed training, we could have stamina training. That's about the extent of the customization for this training level, though. So first thing we're going to do is have all players kind of gather here at this spot, and this will allow us to manage them a little bit more closely. Now, what we might want to do is, I guess we can't really pause the game, unfortunately, but we'll get them all here, and then I'll start putting them through drills. And we should see if anybody's actually injured, because if there is anybody injured, then we're going to want them to do something else. Looks like everyone's healthy here, which is awesome. What should I do? I guess, like, these people are being stragglers. Day's already, like, 10% over, and yet they have still not managed to all get here. In any case, let's grab some of these guys and just toss them down on the passing area. We'll put the rest on the penalties, and as these guys eventually change into their kits and get out here, we can get some more good stuff going. I don't know why these players don't feel like training. I guess maybe because it's rainy. Where are you going, guys? Oh, they're all gathering there because I hit that, hit the whistle again. Okay, you guys train there. Someone is addicted to gambling, so I'm gonna have to give him some training. That's kind of the crux of this game. Maybe crux is not necessarily the right way to put it, but the draw of this game is that you're not only managing, like, you know, the daytime professional lives of your players, but also managing the nightlife and trying to either avoid scandal or at least make sure, you know, your players aren't finding themselves addicted to things that are going to have a negative impact on your success as a team. So Jay Bregery is stealing because he's addicted to gambling. So what we might want to do with this guy is maybe set up a treatment facility or a punishment facility. So, you know, we've got ego training here, but maybe we can get some gambling addiction done there. Now, I don't really know if this is the right way to treat gambling addiction, but we'll see. For ego, I found a guy that was addicted to ego, so I put him through his paces at that punishment facility, and basically they just had, oh, this guy's injured, okay. First things first, who's addicted to gambling? Is it not mental health? I want whoever has addictions. Issues? Issues, it seems like what I'm looking for. Where did Troy Burgery go? He should be over here. Maybe he's automatically gone. We can find him in here as well. It wasn't Troy Broadhurst. One second. I've played about 2 hours of this so far. Maybe actually 3 hours, believe it or not. And still, sometimes I get a little bit confused about the interface, but it's certainly not to the point where, like, it's impossible to do anything. Did this guy just off himself or something, or is he stealing from the locker room right now? I've totally missed him. Alright, well, that is my bad. I can't believe that I can't seem to find the addictions here. But in any case, whatever. He's probably not going to destroy the team with his gambling addiction. I certainly hope so anyway. So we're just going to have these guys train, basically. We can also get a feel for all of our players here if we click on them. A lot of them have really funny faces. Let's bring that up here. They only have, like, 3 animations, I guess, on the face. So it's always like, hey, what's going on over on my right side? And then, oh, God, that's not mine, officer. I swear I've never seen that before. There's some of them that are really good. This guy, I mean, Tommy Rigby, looks particularly Donkey Kong-like, if I may say so myself. Just wait till he does his mouth agape phase. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, I can't believe it. Well, there's one really funny one, though. I think it's, this dude's got, like, a crazy haircut back here. This guy right here. I don't know what it is, but when he opens his mouth, it kind of looks like I can stare right into his soul. As you can see. In any case, I am just dilly-daddling here, because most of your time... Yes, I realize that Danny Westwood is injured. Most of your time is spent kind of watching things happen. That's not necessarily innately a bad thing, because, you know, I played a lot of games like Football Manager, and I really like simulation modes in sports games in general, you know, modes that allow you to play as the manager. The problem is I kind of don't understand why anybody would ever want to play as... Where are you going, Danny Westwood? I kind of don't understand why anyone would ever want to play this, which is a much more shallow version of a managerial sim like a Football Manager or something like that, as opposed to just playing Football Manager itself, which, as far as I know, is similar to that price of $30, which is kind of insane for me. And, you know, people who are into, like, the managerial side of managing somebody's life, I feel like they would much rather play The Sims, where you kind of get a thinner but also substantially deeper and less superficial managerial life simulator. Not to say that The Sims is, like, the 100% accurate depiction of what it's like to be a real person, because it's certainly not. However, seriously, why I can't get this guy to get treated is beyond me. Usually I can just drag him kind of over here and he'll figure it out. Yes, I understand that he's injured and he needs treatment. Can I just drop him in here and then have everything's good to go? Maybe I have to get him... Maybe it's a second injury and he has to be diagnosed first. Maybe he's just gonna walk away. Oh, maybe I had to drop him in, like, this specific part here at the back. Yes, okay, that seems to be it. So he's gonna lay down for a massage. That should cure his stage 3 pancreatic cancer. This might be the guy. No, that's just Mark Hancock. What is your problem, man? Doing passing training and now you're trying to crip walk to the injury station. Why can't I pick you up? Probably because you're injured. And anyway, what I was trying to get at is, you know, this is a much wider kind of simulator, or a wider life sim, in the sense that we manage, you know, like 20 people's lives here. But at the same time, it's very superficial what we do, you know. We put them on passing training, we put them on penalty, maybe we want to pick them up and then rotate them a little bit, just to make sure that everybody's getting, you know, as much possible benefit as they can. But you don't really, you know, you don't feed them or anything like that. By the way, once we finish this kind of day here, when we reach this line right here, we'll move on to the nightlife. So why don't we just speed up, because that's supposed to be... This is like, it's saying your granddad's football simulator. You can take your football team to the pub if you want to. You can take them to the radio for whatever reason. I know Mr. Hancock is injured. Can I just drop him into the second massage chair? He was like right at the borderline. Alright, good. So, you know, the game, in its marketing at least, plays up this fact that, like, oh, your players can get addicted to drugs, your players can get addicted to gambling, your players can get addicted to, you know, their own ego, and that's going to require, you know, a deft managerial touch over the course of your career, or over the course of a season anyway. I haven't really encountered that too much. This is going to be the 5th game of the season, which, again, each kind of day, it lasts as long as you want it to last, but, you know, each day for me probably lasts around 20 minutes, so... We're approaching 2-3 hours of gameplay here, and I still have never really found that any of these addictions had made like a meaningful impact on gameplay. I'm 2 wins, 2 draws so far in the season, so I'm doing pretty well actually. So we're just gonna click this button or hold it down, which means they are all gonna get dismissed, and then they are gonna go over here. Very convenient location for the training pitch, I have to admit. And then they're all gonna come into the suburbs here, I guess, for their nightlife. Now, a lot of people, you know, if we click on a player, every player has their own characteristics. So with psychology here, we should be able to see what they're into, or if we go to needs. So this guy needs alcohol, not that interested in sex. So he's probably going to go to the pub when we finish with the training for today. How about this guy? Oh, you guys are free to go. How about Danny Westwood? He probably needs some medical attention, I'm guessing, at this point, considering he's been injured for like 2 weeks now. He really needs to gamble. And also... I guess is not that into food, partying, or sex. I don't know what I did to create this sexless team here. All players have their own like unique personalities and characteristics, but the one kind of ubiquitous trait is that everyone seems to love alcohol, so this pub usually gets packed. Now, as you accomplish certain goals, and those goals could be as, you know, traditional as get a clean sheet or a shutout for a couple of matches, or as kind of, I guess, PG-13 rated as have an addiction make the news. Your team president will be like, smashing, good job. We're gonna give you like access to one more kind of activity that you can do either on the pitch or in the nightlife. So I haven't really gotten access to any of those yet. So mostly it's just been, you know, oh, actually I did have one at the restaurant actually. That was a misnomer. Can I set up a wine tasting? Yes, I can. So I could have my players come here for a wine tasting or, you know, menu of the day, I suppose. But instead, for the most part, I just kind of let them manage themselves because they choose to go wherever they want to go, which kind of works out for the best because, you know, the balance is, or I should say, you know, the negative part of letting them do whatever they want is they could end up, you know, getting addicted to gambling or getting addicted to alcohol. I've heard that maybe they can, like, sleep through a match day or something like that, which should obviously be bad. But the positive is if you let them do whatever they want, then their mood gets higher and they recharge and they're better for match day. So I kind of find this nightlife a little bit superficial, shall we say. I haven't really gotten to the point where I'm like microing my individual players in order to make things work. But this is going to bring to an end the first phase, or the, you know, the first 2 phases of Lords of Football, and then we're going to move into the way more reminiscent of Football Manager style stuff that is going to come later, where basically we're just going to sit here, you and I are going to watch the AI play a match, and we will have a small but potentially tangible impact on the outcome of the match. Basically, if you're into football, but you're not into the idea of having a football or soccer game that you can't actually play in yourself as one of the players, you obviously want to stay away. But if you're the kind of person who is, you know, at least open to the kind of gameplay that something like Football Manager offers, then this might be a little bit interesting. But at the same time, I really don't know who this is for. So we're playing against the London Queens, which seems to be a pretty offensive name to me, but we're the Sunderland Northern Lions playing at Wild Lion Stadium. By the way, they were not originally called the Sunderland Northern Lions. They were called the Sunderland Wild Lions, I think. So in any case, we do have some options that we can do here. If we didn't want to actually watch the match, we can just simulate it, but, you know, we can go to our tactical editor and change our tactics before the match. I'm not really that into it. I just kind of let the AI do whatever it wants. What would happen here? Just start the game. We're good to go. Oh, there's some players not available because of injuries or red cards. Okay, who's injured? Danny Westwood is injured. This is the first time I've ever had this happen, actually. Let's put on Weir instead. Perfect. We should probably take Gaston out as well because he is not in the best position. We'll replace him with like a center midfielder like so. It's not a perfect fit, but it should be good. And, you know, maybe we'll replace, as much as I hate to do it, we should replace the Walrus potentially with, you know, a central defender or something like that. Good. This hasn't made a huge impact so far. What do you mean it's... Does anyone have a yellow card or a red card now? Oh, now he's in the... I understand that. No problem. I just need to switch these guys so that we don't have an injury in our substitutions, and then we should be able to go. All right. I'm glad that didn't actually leave us hung up here. So, we are playing in the English Cup second round. In the first round, I can't remember what happened. I must have won because I'm still moving onwards here. But obviously, you know, it's a mix of a pseudo Premier League type season, at least when you're playing as an English team, as well as the cup season that goes along with it. So you are now watching where I spend most of my time, or have spent most of my time with Lords of Football so far. It is a very, very football manager-y type simulation that we're going to be watching here. So a standard football match is going to be 90 minutes plus a little bit of injury time here. And we're going to be able to make some changes. That was a terrible play right there. We're going to be able to make some changes that may affect the match. Like we've got this button, which will obviously pause the match and allow us to make tactical changes. We have this button, which allows us to kind of set up a counter-attack, which causes us to be more aggressive. And then we have this button, which is defend quickly, which causes us to be more defensive, obviously. Now, I don't use these buttons too much in the actual match. I literally spend most of my time with this game just kind of sitting here and watching the AI play itself. And there's nothing more exciting than watching the AI play itself to a scoreless draw. As into simulator games as I am, and as much as I was into Football Manager for a while, I can't get into these games long term because I just feel like I have idle hands. And there's nothing wrong with loving Football Manager. I know a lot of people are really into that, and that's totally cool. But again, I just kind of don't understand why, if you're going to watch your AI play here, why you would be playing this as opposed to playing Football Manager, which is a staunchly superior game from a simulation aspect and a football aspect as well, because you manage everything, like, you know, player contracts and stuff like that. This seems like it's kind of like midway between playing manager mode in FIFA and you know, manager mode or the standard mode in Football Manager, I suppose. And I don't know if there's any market out there for that. Are there people who play Football Manager that are like, I like this, I just wish it was a little bit more casual, but not quite as casual as FIFA? So I guess the Venn diagram of who's supposed to be into this game is like people who really love football but not that much, and people who really love The Sims, but not that much, because, you know, on their own, each of those is individually superior to this. That's not to say that Lords of Football is a bad game. I expected it to be terrible, but it's actually surprisingly competent, and, you know, the football matches, even if you are just watching the AI play itself, they're watchable. I mean, they're not, it's not like the AI usually makes any kind of terrible decisions or creates a vastly unwatchable game of football, but on the other hand, I kind of feel like, why am I here? If that makes sense. I don't understand, like, who this game is for. It seems like either this should be more simmy, more crazy. Like, I kind of wish it would go in the more absurd aspect where you could, like, manage a single player's life and get them addicted to drugs or something and still have them, you know, come back and win the scoring title or something like that. Or it should be much, much cheaper. It kind of seems like a game that is made for no one, and that's unfortunate from a marketing standpoint. But sadly, that is my, you know, realistic expectation. Again, not to say that this is a bad game. It's a game that's certainly easy to mock, and I'm trying to, you know, mine some gold there. But at the same time, it's not terrible. It's just kind of a game that I don't know if it has a home, if that makes sense. But let's get back to the game here. There are other changes I can make during the game. I believe if I, you know, click on a person, like, let's click on, oh, maybe not, actually. I thought you could actually, like, micromanage your players a little bit. Like, if I clicked on Andy Newton here, maybe I could do something. Nope, I guess not. Either that loading screen lied to me, or I misread a tutorial at some point. We can also go to our kind of tactical editor here. This would allow us to change our formation. Why don't we make it 4-4-2 offensive, like that, and maybe that'll allow us to get some more scoring chances going. We can, you know, set our mentality to be offensive. Basically, standard Football Manager stuff, but it does lack a lot of the nuances of Football Manager, like, you know, being able to yell at your little AI football dudes at halftime for not playing as well as you want. Kind of seems like baby's first Football Manager in a way. But again, that's not really what they were going for. They weren't going necessarily to compete with Football Manager, but oh, there we go. Oh, did I not score there? Must have missed just over the net. Your players' moods, I should say, will change over the course of the match. So if you're bored out of your skull, never fear. We are approaching the end of the first half here. And, you know, as usual, the AI is playing itself to a scoreless draw. There's people who get snobby about soccer or football because there's not a lot of goals scored. I'm not one of those people. You know, I enjoy a good football match as much as the next guy. But, you know, watching the AI play itself to a scoreless draw over and over and over can be kind of tedious, especially when I feel like I don't have too much impact in real time over the success of my team. So that's going to be the end of the first half. I wish there was like a halftime locker room type interface that I could use to yell at my teammates. Basically, the way I do this most of the time is just, you know, substitutions whenever I want to, usually in like the 65th or 75th minute. But, you might be saying, Northernlion, you could do a lot of stuff better, and maybe your team would have a greater chance of success. That might be true, but I've actually played probably above my weight class so far. This is a 3.5-star team, and I haven't lost a game all season despite having played some 5-star teams already. So, you know, with reasonable expectations, I would say that I'm doing probably better than one would have initially anticipated. They're just going to not defend here, which is pretty crazy, and I scored a goal. See? Might be the greatest Lords of Football player on the planet. Now, we're going to get like an exhaustive number of replays here, which I think is completely unnecessary. But I do want to watch the replay one more time to kind of show off how pretty terrible the AI was at one specific moment there, particularly this defender right here who just decides, you know what, I'm not really that interested in defending today. We're just going to move on. So we're in like the 48th minute. Should only be 2 or 3 more minutes at the simulation speed that the game runs at in order to finish it off. Now, if I was to play this game long term, I think I would probably not watch the games. Thankfully, the Mountain didn't get a yellow card there. I love that some of these guys have like monikers or superlatives, I guess. Not superlatives, because that's like most likely to succeed, but they have weird pseudonyms like the Mountain or the Cyborg, and other guys are just like, hey, I'm Aaron Dixon. But in any case, what I was going to say is that if I was going to play this game long term, I definitely, you know, could not see myself playing a full 38-game season, just watching every single game. That would be like 7 to 8 hours in all likelihood of just watching your team and occasionally making tactical substitutions, which again, A-okay in Football Manager. If I'm going to do it, though, I'll probably do it in Football Manager. If I was going to do it in this game, I would probably instead just simulate every single match day and, you know, not have to watch every single game, which I think would improve the quality of my experience so far. But it's interesting to show off that, you know, this game does have a working football engine in it, even if sometimes I guess I was incorrect earlier when saying that the AI is usually pretty good. That defensive AI was absolutely horrendous. So we're getting a lot of fouls here. My team's getting a little chippy. I mean, if I was being a prudent manager, I would probably switch back to a more defensive standpoint right now and maybe swap out one of my forwards for, you know, an additional midfielder or defender. But I'm just contented to kind of watch things happen here. And we'll see what goes on. If I sound bored, I kind of am bored, and that's how I've spent a lot of my time with Lords of Football so far. But that is okay. Again, I would like to reiterate that I'm not trying to shit on Lords of Football by any stretch of the imagination. I kind of expected that's what this game would be like when I bought it. And, you know, that's maybe a little bit of a biased thing to say. But at the same time, a certain proportion of my channel is, you know, shitting on games that deserve it and are absurd and or terrible. But I found myself, you know, thinking that this is a surprisingly competent football game, but it just doesn't kind of wedge itself into a niche that I feel actually exists, if that makes sense. You know, simulation fans know where they should probably go, and perhaps more casual or people who want a more active soccer or football game know where to go as well. I think it's pretty obvious. You would either go to FIFA or PES or Winning 11. I can't remember which one is still around. There's 2 camps. I'm a FIFA guy myself. Not to start up that whole argument, because I know the internet takes its football games very seriously. But, you know, maybe there is a market out here for this. A lot of people are surprised to find out that Football Manager is routinely among the most played games on Steam. So maybe I'm just misjudging the amount of people that would actually be into something like this. And that's why I show off this gameplay, not only to give my own opinions on it, but also to give you a chance to take a look at it and perhaps judge a little bit for yourself. You might be saying, is that it? And in a way, that is it with Lords of Football. As soon as we finish this match right here, which at the moment is looking like it's going to come out like a win, then we're going to return to the training pitch and we'll just repeat the cycle day after day. There might be some kind of, I don't know, a weird encounter or random occurrence or instance that happens for us at the training pitch or something like that, but I have not experienced it in 5 or 6 games, so I'm kind of unqualified to say that. But, you know, I'm pleased with the way my team has been playing so far this season. I wouldn't necessarily say I harbor dreams of winning the European Cup. Even if we were 5-0-0 right now, 5 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, it's probably pretty unlikely that I would continue with this season regardless, just because I'm not having all that much fun with it. And, you know, the big sore point for me is that it's just not $30 worth of fun at all. Obviously, that's something that's going to come down to subjectivity to a certain extent, but for real, man, this game strikes me as at least, you know, too expensive by half. That was actually a pretty solid cross here. Maybe we can get a chance in the middle. As you can see, my dudes are looking pretty happy. We're just still killing time here. It's looking like the Sunderland Northern Lions are going to triumph over the London Queens here. By the way, the way it makes like that 3-letter or 3-character short form for your team is just by taking the first letter of the city. Oh, he's going to get a card, and possibly I might get a free kick. Well, I'm definitely going to get a free kick, but I might get a chance on goal. But yeah, it's the first letter of your city and then the first 2 letters of your team. So I feel like you could make some swear words or something like that if you were as juvenile as I am. So B-Song, sadly, didn't really get a good one on Gato there, but that's okay, because injury time has been announced, and I'm pretty sure by the time this lobbed free kick lands, as you can see, that is just going to be the end. So I got the man of the match. I also won the match. We could check out our team's performance if we wanted to. You know, I guess I've broken the ice somehow. That maybe that's our 3rd victory. And we're going to get these same recycled loading screens over and over. You know, I haven't talked really about sound or graphics. It looks and sounds okay, in my opinion. It's certainly not stunning. Frame rate gets a little bit clunky even when I'm not recording, especially if you're playing on cheetah speed, for lack of a better word. Overall, I'm more impressed with Lords of Football than I thought it would be, but certainly not even close, anywhere near close to being impressed enough to recommend this, especially at full price. Alright, so I've made a good start with the team's technical skills, and I don't want our goalkeepers to be neglected. I've arranged a training exercise especially for them. Awesome. We have another challenge completed? Yes. I know you're walking a dangerous bridge with so many addicted players. Our players now have at least 10 active addictions, so he's increased the therapy clinic just in case things get too out of hand. Fantastic. Beautiful. So I guess we've got a new building here where we can talk about, you know, alcohol addiction or something. In any case, this has been Lords of Football. There will be a link in the video description. Aiden Newton is drunk. Well, you know, who wouldn't be after a victory like that? But in any case, again, this is Lords of Football. There will be a link in the video description to check this out if for whatever reason you want to buy it on Steam. Overall impressions, I feel like 30 bucks is way too much for this, but it is a surprisingly competent game. It's just, it's not simmy enough to usurp Football Manager, and it's not the Simsy enough to kind of preclude people from playing The Sims, I feel. It's just kind of like a half-assed version of both. But still, you know, it's much better than I expected it to be. Is it worth $30? Almost certainly not, but maybe when this comes way down in a Steam sale, people might be able to glean, you know, 5 to 10 hours of gameplay out of it. In any case, as always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.